What a day, what a week, what a year this is already starting off to be 2025. President Trump coming into office, crypto in focus. And we're here on the Mario Nawfal Crypto Daily, breaking down not only some of the top news stories, what the heck is going on in this market? Where is it going? And I am honored to be able to have these panel discussions and also be able to dive in and peek under the hood of some of these various projects that are building. And today we got GreenX with us, which we will be doing an AMA, a focus section towards the end, and really breaking down and peeking into what they are doing within this ecosystem. But before we get there, my name's Kelly Kellum. Again, we are here on the Mario Nawfal Crypto Daily, the best panel discussions in the whole world. That's right. We got our boy Drew here with us as well. How you doing, my friend?
Man, the markets have been absolutely crazy today. We're kind of on the edge of our heels waiting to hear about that Bitcoin executive order.
Yeah, you know, and on that note, we were kind of talking before we went live about how excited we are about this technology and the adoption that can come in. But one of the things that we're seeing, and I think we will continue to see, is whether it be AI agents, gaming, real world asset tokenization. In order for that to happen, we have to have very strong community appeal, very strong community awareness, and not just in the Western world, not just with gamers, we need it across the board. And so it's important to have different projects building into different type of, whether they're niche communities, geolocated communities, religious communities across the board. And I couldn't be more excited about that. So throwing it over to, we got Thor, we got Crystal, we got Philip, we got Alex, we got Jeremy. We got a panel lined up here along with Drew and myself. Well, on that note, I want to throw it over to Thor here, because I think there's curiosity, there's ignorance, there's excitement, and there's knowledge, and all of us kind of meet all those categories in some area of crypto, right? Because the space is evolving so quickly. So with this idea of tokenization of assets, right? Let's say the stock market, right? For an example, Thor, do you think that, there's this discussion of, for instance, Ondo coming up with their summit here in a couple of weeks, and everybody's discussing this idea of potential global markets tokenization. Does the idea of tokenizing something like the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 or even a subsection of that, does that bring it to a more global stage, or are all those things going to be in some ways geo-fenced still because of regulation, or does this open that gateway to a huge amount more freedom of liquidity globally?
Yeah, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for having me on, and I'm excited to learn more about GreenX today and kind of what you guys are up to and maybe how we could collaborate.
Hey guys, it's great to be on again. Thank you so much for having me. I hope everyone's doing great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. AMA, as I promised here, we're diving in with GreenX. And so what I'd like to do is kind of start from scratch. I know we've covered some of these topics. We've talked a broad range of things here, but I want to get a peek under the hood, most specifically here on GreenX. So why don't we just start here with what is GreenX? What's your sort of simple elevator pitch? And then we can kind of take it piece by piece and dive in a bit deeper along the way.
Thank you. Maybe I'll take that on. At GreenX, we are not the traditional crypto trading. Looking at trading at the 100 of the crypto, memcoin, etc. We're really focusing on real world asset, security token. We are licensed by the Malaysia Labuan Financial Services Authority. So what we actually only have 5 the generic token: your BTC, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Now, the other tokens we have are all the projects, on the real world asset. So that's our focus. And what I said before, we're focusing on the institutional market as well as the retail, because the retail actually is our number one focus. Okay, and we have right now we have 4 RWA token. We have Dignity Gold, which is a US gold reserve. It's $6 billion US. It's one of the largest RWA. And then we actually have, the Chinese Antique is a limited partnership fund in Hong Kong. So it's actually run by the antique dealer, and the fund is actually managed by a licensed investment manager. We have the Australia EV battery technology, that is about 800 million valuation. Also, we have the Sapphire. This is the sapphire stone, not the jewelry type. It's one of the largest sapphire collector in Asia. So we are very focused on all these real world asset, everything you can touch, okay, and they have independent valuation. One other thing we focus very much on is the Sharia compliant. So we also I've spent a lot of time, my team has, in Indonesia, talking to the Islamic community leaders, and we have a collaboration with them because to them they also realize that they need to help their younger generations to get a grasp on the digital asset space. And so we've been also doing a lot of training on digital asset, on wealth management as well. So this is kind of where we are. And I think one other thing I would focus on is to help people to raise money on this real world asset is important. But I think one also important part is the ecosystem. How do once the investor they bought the token, the liquidity, that's one part they always ask. Are we going to be able to get some cash when we need it? Okay, so we are also working on a financials, service company that actually provide a kind of a short-term financing, and you can actually deposit the RWA token and get some cash out of it. This is something we are looking to launch within the next, the next 2-3 months. So there are, we're also working on insurance, on security token. On our RWA, so this is going to be a world first to have insurance actually on the tokens during the issuance.
That is awesome, and you have a good focus to bring retail at the forefront of your focus. But what was the deciding factor really to become Sharia compliant and ESG for your exchange?
Right. Well, our home base is Malaysia. So Malaysia, has a big, Muslim community. This is also when we look at our competitive advantage when we start. So we're right in the middle of Southeast Asia. Our neighbor, Indonesia, have over 200 million, people, and most of them, probably about 75%, are Muslim. A lot of people don't understand about the Islamic faith. They are really very, very consistent with ESG. In their kind of belief, they believe in ethical investment. Okay, so what does that mean? They don't, avoiding industries like alcohol, gambling, weapon manufacturing, and sort of risk sharing. They also have that, and environmental stewardship. What that means, they have a word called khalifa, which means a stewardship. For the earth, responsible for the care of the earth, the preservation, also social justice and welfare. So, like, investment should contribute to social welfare, economic justice. So, at GreenX, we are also, making our platform token, GX token, when we are also developing a green token. Okay, that help projects that are focusing on like reducing the carbon footprint, and also renewable energy. So we're also helping projects across the world. A lot of them actually coming from Indonesia as well, from Korea, from Japan, and Australia.
Incredible. Now, you mentioned the GX token. Is there any other kind of upcoming projects that you might be able to give us insight on that you might be looking to list alongside these GX tokens?
Yeah, I think maybe I'll leave that to Jeremy to
So
to
perhaps let me explain what is GX token in a short sentence. So we are aiming to have that as our platform token. Essentially the BNB for our exchange. So other than that, we are actually looking to list a green token as well. So we call it an ESG token, where there's a lot of coins out there that only focuses. I think recently, if you remember Flow by Adam Newman, it was a carbon credit based token, right? But for us, carbon credits, it only encompasses the E portion of the ESG pillars. It's still missing the S and still missing the G pillars. So green token itself has it encompasses the E pillar, which is the carbon credits, the renewable energy certificates. And then we also cover the S pillar, the socials, the society, where we actually will partner up with some providers for companies and corporates to adopt programs for the ESG. For example, let's say they want to adopt a program where they give out some money and to help out some impoverished folks somewhere in Malaysia, somewhere in Indonesia. So we are working on that somehow involves the coin. Now I can't reveal everything yet because it's still in the wraps, but there will be involvement of the coins in helping the society part, where there'll be some airdrops, and we will reward the corporates for providing all these social programs. And we have a governance as well. We have invited ESG industry players, especially in Southeast Asia, to come on board to decide, okay, which project are we looking at? What kind of carbon credits that there's a lot of categories of carbon credits for folks out there who's not sure. It's quite so these industry experts will come in and let us know that will be the steward for these tokens as well. So on top of that, we have like 8 other projects in the pipeline. So quite a bit of that.
If
So
I
with
may,
that-
sorry, go ahead.
Well, with that being said, I also saw that you guys have some of the partnerships that you're working on. If you'd like to bring up any of the partners you have, or anything that you have that you're working on coming up.
We aren't touching that. There's a reason why we are not touching the US equity markets yet, or the bonds, or the ETFs. I think that there's some other exchanges that's doing that, but we are not, right? Simply because the US laws are quite complex. You need to go to individual states to get approval and things like that. And even if we even have some limitations on US citizens onboarding onto our platform. So we do not want to get in there unless there's a clear directions from the current administration, say that okay, we are all clear, we're good to go. We have legalized this. You guys go ahead. Okay, then we open up. So we are still waiting for the US administrations to take the lead on that, to open up the US citizens to, hey, I have this exchange in Malaysia. If there's a US citizen coming here and the US citizens decide to sue, and they will bring us to court in US, which is not what we want.
But I think I would like to add the fact that we do have a few US projects. The real world asset actually is one of the largest is Dignity Gold. So that is a US project, what we call the Regulation S. So that is a specific corporate structure that allow American US asset, US business to raise fund offshore of US. So we actually have a commercial real estate project from US as well. So it's a commercial real estate mall that we are working on, and that we are looking at listing that within the 2-3 months. Okay, and it's a platform in Hong Kong. So they actually have, we can't, tell the name yet because we're still working on our legal kind of structure. So they will be providing financing, for our RWA token. Of course, they will look at each of the project, each of the token individually before they will do that. And right now, a couple of the token already receive the same level of LTV, what we call as Bitcoin, because they're already making the financial the lending available for BTC, ETH, Solana. So we're working with having our RWA deposited holder, and they can get maybe 50% or 60% kind of funding. Now, this is not happening on GreenX. This is our partner, but because they look at GreenX RWA and they are comfortable enough, assured enough to provide that to the token holder. So we're not providing any lending on the exchange because that would not be Sharia compliant.
Yeah, thank you all very much. And thank you everybody that's tuned in. That's all we got today on this edition of the Mario Nawfal Crypto Daily. Let's go dive back in and tangle ourselves in this never-ending news cycle, which is crypto positive, setting up the future. Let's get it. My name's been Kelly Kellum. Thank you all for being here on the Mario Nawfal Crypto Daily. That's all we got. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.
Yes.
See you guys.